In our previous session, we covered effect controls and the timeline. And in this session, I want to talk about effect types and presets. My name is Iman and I welcome you to this Premiere Pro tutorial. As we are saying this, we are also. Someone behind me is mimicking me. Guys, let's continue. The guys behind me say it's great. Let's continue the tutorial. During our last session, we spoke about the timelines. In this session, we are going to talk about the timeline in a slightly more advanced manner. I have brought a clip for us to work on, and I also have a few raw rushes available. If I were to press the Q key on this clip underneath that I have selected right here, the clips above it cut it for me. In order to prevent this from happening, you should come here and click the sync lock button to unlink it. After that, you select your track, press the Q button, and only that specific part gets cut, so you do not damage the subsequent clips. You can use this for music as well. So, let us go ahead and try one more example starting from this section. I will mark it in by pressing the I key, and then I mark it out by pressing the O key. I would like to have another sequence created for me right here. Actually, that is not it. I do not want that. I want the film that I have just created for YouTube. Actually, I did the same thing to create this for Instagram as well. Well, go into the sequence option, this option here. We are going to select Make Sequence and Make Subsequence, which will appear right here. This will create a brand new sequence for us, okay? It is right here, okay? Well, that part that I had separated, I brought it here. Pay close attention, guys. I need to select this whole part here. Let me here. Select it. I am going to select this entire section. I come back to sequence again. I click Make Sequence and another subsequence was created for me. All those parts that are left, check what difference this has with Nest. If I come here and change my sequence size to the Instagram drag size, I click OK for Instagram Reels and it converts to Reel size while it didn't damage my original film. But in the other one, any change you made was applied directly to it. So this, what we call creating a sub or drag, you can edit for your YouTube and create one at the same time. And edit parts of your work for Instagram, okay? Well, there is another method, for example. Guys, please pay close attention. The subsequence I created included this entire section because I had it selected. If I want to exclude that and only keep this specific section, so you perform a cut, right click, and select Make Subsequence, which then generates a new sequence for me. This one is new for me. This was the original project menu I was working with. Now I will clear the mark in and mark out points. I come over here and perform a cut. I tell it to make this a subsequence, so whenever I want to drag this clip separately into any other part, it will generate a separate one for me, rather than having to constantly go back and separate it again to move it into a different section. So, I have come to understand that within my project menu, I can even rename it by double-clicking to make. An underline, a test. I can position it wherever I like at any time I want. I realize that the section I have cut, I am able to bring it back into the timeline again. Line. This covers the sub-creation part. And in fact the difference is not significant. Well, I am going to load another project for the decision. Usually the students who have classes with me, whether in person, online or private, one of the exercises I give them is to create a trailer. I don't really say this often, but I try to talk about their final sessions. The reason I usually give a trial is the speed of cutting and placement. How they perform the cuts and how they arrange the clips sequentially to make progress. I have now selected the Taliban movie and I want either the entire film or just this section. Up to this part, give me all the cuts of the film when I right-click and hit Scene Edit. The first one tells me to apply it and make the cuts. The second option tells me to create a sub-clip for every single cut here. The third option tells me to mark it for me. It says mark. Go ahead and apply it so it can be analyzed. You saw how it effectively generated every single cut for you, all the film cuts that were present in the footage. It generated those, and you are now able to utilize these rushes for your trailers, your audio, and the sections I am working on. Listen guys, this feature is not for raw footage. It is for films, trailers, or edited projects where you need to view and isolate your cutscenes. This capability was not available previously, but I believe Premiere added it from 2021, although it is also present in 2020. I won't specify exactly when, but it has been added for you to use. As you said, Premiere will create the card for you automatically. Okay, now I will delete this and add a new raw clip. Well, in my training videos, I typically build something like this inside After Effects. Then I import it into Premiere. Okay, how do we handle these tasks? I start with my first raw clip. Enlarge it. If you ever need to design a motion graphics title and you are familiar with After Effects, right-click. Select the Replace option. Choose Replace with After Effects Comp. So, it tells you in After Effects to save the project before proceeding. I will generate it inside After Effects, and then you are able to add your title to whichever section you are currently working on. For instance, I will specify the exact location for the channel name within After Effects and then apply motion to it. Everything that I intend to create is automatically generated for me within Premiere. It gets created even if I do not press the Ctrl+S shortcut, it generates it for me. So by right-clicking this option, you are able to sync it with After Effects, alright? If at any point after using After Effects you wanted to perform your sound design in Adobe Audition, which is specific to that, it is the Adobe Audition part and you can sync it just like you do with After Effects. Go ahead and activate this Adobe Audition clip edit, then bring it into the Audition section to manipulate your audio. Or go ahead and test out your music. And that is all for the door section. Actually, the timelines that you can use. Let us go to the transition section. 2 of them. 2. This is the rush. And this one here, placed right next to each other. I would like to add an effect between these two. I go to the window menu, here. I will activate the effects menu so that it shows me a preview down here. And you are able to open up the video transitions. If at any point you find that you do not have these 4, do not worry. These are the transitions that I have typically downloaded for myself. One is cross dissolve. When I cross dissolve, it creates 2 separate sections for me, meaning 2 clips dissolve into one another. I will go ahead and double click on the cross dissolve effect. From the effect control menu, again, it appears here. It indicates here that I should place it between 2 cuts. Do you see that? Then it tells me to place it at the start of the first clip. Excuse me, I mean place it at the start of the second clip or the end of the first clip. You can work with this part. It is saying here that you want to increase the duration. See? Or double click. Here is the duration. Increase or decrease the dissolve duration. Now, if I were to try and reduce it, double click it. I can reduce the seconds. See? It includes a default preset. What does that mean? If you double click on this area, the project window will be divided into 2. You can add this cross dissolve and have it set as the default. This cross dissolve is the default setting. Should you wish to change it, you can right click right here. Choose any transition and click Set Selected as Default or use the Ctrl+D keyboard shortcut. I will select both of these items here and then press Ctrl+D or Ctrl+D here. The default is the cross dissolve selection. If I change the setting, say to dip to black, then Ctrl+D will trigger that. So what exactly is dip to black? It provides a certain amount of darkness to the transition, and then it will brighten up again after that. You can use dip to black, or you could use a white screen to brighten it up. When is this typically used? It is for when you are doing an interview and want to create a jump cut that the viewer will definitely notice. You can use this white. Black and cross dissolve will also fade between your 2 images, which works very well. Unfortunately, Premiere itself does not seem to have much interest in updating its transitions. Typically, the transitions that are available, such as cross zoom, are quite old. They are transitions that were at one time very trendy, but are no longer in style. For instance, I will bring up an example for you. For instance, this transition, which maybe, if I were to provide an example, it was used in weddings back in the 60s, but it is outdated now and is not practical. You are able to download your own transitions. For instance, I have downloaded a transition. This transition is very, very strong. Can you see that? Please make sure to test every single one of these transition effects. You will be able to see how they are used in various edits later on. You might find that the best possible edit is sometimes without any transitions at all. Simple cuts. That is far better than bringing in an effect yourself and showing it off. In reality, these are just like CapCut effects, but to become a professional editor, you should use fewer transitions. You should only use them in appropriate places, so try each one to see how you can work with them. I truly hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Until we meet in the next lesson, farewell.